Uno, 9 points. All 4 field goals have been dunks. Throwing a free throw and 4 rebounds. That young man has been outstanding in the early going. So too have the Gators shooting the basketball over 50% in this first half.
Part of it, Mike, they've played inside out. They've gotten their feet in the paint, be it on a post catch or penetration, and then they've kicked out. So those threes have been outstanding looks.
Hill challenging and draws the foul. William Jackson went for the block, and so too did Ogbede.
And it's also been their defense too for Florida. I mean, this is the 5th best team defensively in the country. So as much as they've struggled offensively, they have been stout defensively and have been to start this game.
Casey Hill misfiring on the first free throw. Mentioned earlier, Casey Hill, a former McDonald's All-American, a starter last year, started the first part of this season. Coach White telling us, you know, Casey Hill actually came up to him and said, you know what, you need to start Chiozza. He's playing better basketball. How often do you see a player actually do that? It's pretty rare. Georgia really having trouble with the pressure by the Gators. Almost another turnover.
Florida just playing so hard.
Frazier up top, Maton on a tray. And a whistle down low. And the foul is on Florida as you had Ogbede crashing on the offensive glass. He got pushed.
One of the byproducts of the 2-2-1, which Florida is playing after made baskets. They're in a 3-quarter 2-2-1 containment. One of the byproducts is by the time Georgia is initiating their offense, there's only about 15 seconds, 20 seconds left on that clock. How many times already in this first half have we seen that shot clock for Georgia get down to the 7-8 second range?
What surprises me is, Chris, when you talk about Georgia, the strength of their team is quality veteran guards. They got 3 of them on the floor, and they're still having problems.
Well, there's some pesky guards out there for Florida getting after them. It's part of the 2-2-1. You've got Casey Hill, Chris Chiozza playing together, Kayvon Allen. They're not tall in stature, but they will get after you defensively.
That last foul, by the way, on Finney-Smith, so he's on the bench now with 2 fouls and over 7 minutes to play in the first half. Mann buries the second 10-point game here in the O'Connell Center. Two teams that most people had projected to be in the NCAA tournament at the beginning of the year. As Chiozza draws a bump foul on the perimeter. You had Georgia and Florida picked in the neighborhood of 5-6, depending on which poll you looked at. Everybody wants to get off to a good start in conference play. It does so much good for the psyche if you can win that first game in your league.
First sign of zone here, a 1-2-2 from Georgia. Gives them the opportunity to switch any crossing actions, force Florida to beat them over the top.
Chiozza with a heat check 3. Mann probes, Mann has it rejected by Egbudu, and there to clean it up is Maton.
Well, Maton leads them in scoring, and one of the reasons is he's an opportunist. He's done a nice job cleaning up old boards like that, just little scrappy stuff to get him 2 points.
How about this for Maton? Only player in the SEC top 10 in scoring, rebounding, field goal, and free throw percentage. That's impressive.
He's the most improved for me in the SEC.
I'm with you.
He is light years ahead of where he was last season.
Chiozza on the pump fake draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line.
And think about who he had to replace, inside for Georgia last season. Those 2 guys, Marcus Foster and Nemanja Jurisic, were terrific, and Yante Maton has been as good almost by himself. Look at those numbers. He increases, only scored about 5 points a game last year, giving him 16 so far this year.
Chiozza knocks down the first, and your point is a good one. Jurisic and Thornton were so good for Georgia last season inside, so reliable. The question was going to be, who's going to take over? How are you going to make up for all the scoring and rebounding those 2 provided? The answer has been Yante Maton, a talented sophomore from Pontiac, Michigan. Here's more of that full court pressure. It has plagued Georgia thus far.
And then back into the man-to-man. Nice cut.
And a foul from behind by Egbunu. It's Super Tuesday on ESPN, presented by Hotels.com, and it should be something to see. We've got the best freshman in college basketball, Ben Simmons, leading LSU against Tyler Ulis. Very good point guard for the 10th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I don't know about you, but I know where I'm going to be doing when that game is on, right in front of the TV. Ben Simmons alone is worth the price of admission. And Tyler Ulis, he's the smallest guy on the floor whenever he's out there. But Kentucky, without him, they'd probably have a couple more losses. He's been their best player.
Doesn't take much to get you on the couch in front of a TV, Mike.
You are very true on that.
It's not a high standard we're setting there.
That is true. Very fair point by yourself, Chris Patola. 9-point lead for Florida. Gators with the basketball.
You see the zone. Florida spent a lot of time executing their sets against this in the shoot-around today. Nice attack there by Devin Robinson.
A nasty collision with Paul Gino. A little bit of frustration there with Devin Robinson. Certainly nothing malicious. Paul Gino just crashing in, trying to do what he does best, which is rebound.
And he just, again, gets himself good position. Devin Robinson taken out of the starting lineup tonight. He's got so much talent. I mean, you see his size. He's 6'8", long arms, a sophomore. And I think just, matching effort over 40 minutes has been some issues. Shot selection, something he's still learning. But you see the physical gifts that he has.
Robinson, 7 early points, member of the SEC All-Freshman team a year ago. Can't get the shooter's bounce on the second. Man, crossover, takes it strong, offensive foul.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's a block. I thought Kavarius got there late, and then I'm not saying you have to fall over, but Kavarius was the one initiating that contact. I thought Charles Mann should be at the foul line on that one.
And that's the second foul on Mann. With 5:20 to go in half number 1. Georgia zoning it up. Gators trying to find a crease. There it is up top to Allen. Bullseye.
What a pass. I mean, half of their threes for Florida in this first half have been assisted by Chris Chiozza. What a find, a heads-up play. And how about Kevon Allen moving into that pocket of the zone to get himself a shot?
Inside, and a thunder slam by Ogbede, a freshman who was banged up earlier in the year. You see that brace on his right shoulder. He's healthy now, and they really think he's going to be a good one.
Out of Atlanta is Ogbede, a powerful player. Quick jump.
Robinson feeling it. Robinson connecting.
You gotta like the response from Robinson. He did not play well in that loss to Florida State. His body language was not good. He has responded tonight.
A game-high 10 for Robinson. The Gators, the worst three-point shooting team in the league. They're 5 for 10. And an offensive foul pushing the back by Ogbede.
One thing about young teams is they typically have short memories. That can be good or bad. In the case of that loss to Florida State the other night at the buzzer on a great shot by Dwayne Bacon, this Florida team had 2 good days of practice, Mike White said, and they have come out and responded in this first half.
Head coach Mike White, he told us at shoot around today, because he had some other coaching opportunities the last couple of years. He said, you know what? I was real happy at Louisiana Tech did some historical things there. Program was on the rise. Family was happy there in Ruston, Louisiana. He said, but when Florida called, it was just too good to pass up. He said, I'm never leaving the state of Florida. I'm happy right here.
What a home run hire. And I give Jeremy Foley a lot of credit. You know, a little bit outside the box, but you get a young guy who comes from good stock and is going to be a great coach here at Florida.
There's the athletic director for the University of Florida, who's done a tremendous job. Of course, hired Billy Donovan when nobody saw that hire coming. That basically took this program to a whole new level, and that's what he believes Coach White can do as well.
And I call it outside the box because a lot of ADs now, they want to use search firms. And Jeremy Foley said, look, I know the guy who's going to be right for my program. And he goes out, he gets a Billy Donovan out of Marshall. He gets a Mike White out of Louisiana Tech. Two guys who had great success at those schools. And he's brought great excitement, has White. I mean, he's going to get this thing rolling, and that guy right there understands the process of building an athletic department.
Meanwhile, an over-the-back foul on Ogbede after the missed free throw by Yonte Maton, so he cannot complete the three-point play. Ogbede has 2 fouls. And the Gators are in the bonus. Double bonus, in fact, as Robinson knocks down the first. He's got a game-high 13 points. The Gators up by 15. And this is a quality Georgia team that came in on a 4-game winning streak. Robinson splits the freebies. Gaines drives, Gaines. Contact, no whistle. Loose basketball. Clip. How about Kenny Gaines? Stayed with it and sticks it back in. There's not a guard in this league that plays harder than number 12 for Georgia.
He's a really good athlete, even on the miss. See the ability to hang and just stuck with it, like you said.
Shot clock ticking down to 6. And 3 seconds on the Gators.
How about the movement here? Kevon Allen finds the open space, the top of that zone, then drains it.
You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Florida Gators out to a 37-24 lead here in the first half. SEC opener for everybody here today, including these two teams. Mike Morgan alongside Chris Spatola. And Chris, it's that time of year. Happy New Year, first of all,
Happy
to you
New Year,
and everybody out there.
Absolutely.
So we talked about these two teams, high expectations coming in, but everybody can improve their game a little bit. New Year's resolution, what would you like to see each one of these teams do better in 2016?
I think if you're Georgia, they've got to become a better rebounding team. Only a +1 margin on the year. And if you're going to beat those teams at the top of the SEC, you've got to be able to rebound the basketball. And then for Florida, we've seen how good they can be when they make shots. This is example A tonight. If they can become a team that can jump up to a 30% three-point shooting team, something they've only done once on the season, they could be much, much better.
Yeah. They came in at just 27%. That was dead last in the SEC. And there you look at the preseason poll. This is the media poll, which doesn't differentiate much from the coaches poll. Georgia picked 5th. Florida picked 6th. I think just about everybody acknowledges this league is going to get at least 5. And if you get maybe 6, potentially even 7, both these teams could be on the proverbial bubble. You just never know. So everybody trying to improve a little bit as the second part of the college basketball season begins with conference play as Kenny Gaines continues to impress on the mid-range jumper.
Both these programs, Mike White, Mark Fox, they have controlled what they can control, that being their schedule. Florida, #1 strength of schedule in the BPI. Georgia, 9th strength of schedule in the BPI. So they've taken care of that piece. Now you got to win games in conference.
Gators slowing it down a little bit in the half court, but the shot clock now under 5. Allen has to force one. Air ball, follow. Also missed the rim, so a shot clock violation. Now coming up at the half, Brandon Fitzgerald, Paul Biancardi will take good care of you. Go around the Southeastern Conference, talk about the SEC and the bowl games as well. Georgia Bulldogs going bowling. It's been a great start for the SEC in the bowl games. 8-2 at my last count. Frazier coughs it up right into the waiting hands of Kayvon Allen. Allen all the way. And an offensive foul. Great defense. That is the kind of gritty work that Kenny Paulgino does.
See, I didn't like that call, though, Mike. To me, if the offensive player can slide by like I thought Allen did, I don't think that's a charge. I think it's got to be a block. I mean, Gino's there. There's no question about it. But the contact is like nicking his right shoulder. I mean, I think that's a good offensive play, and you should reward the offensive player there.
How about a no call?
Well, see, to me, there was something there. I mean, it was either a charge or a block.
Okay.
So I think you have to call something. I don't like the no call, but we'll disagree on block charge.
Gaines feeling it. And that's going to be a reach-in foul on Robinson. I know one thing. There were no lack of whistles in the Memphis, South Carolina game that preceded us. I think they're still calling fouls in that one.
Was there any blood? I mean, the number of fouls, was there any blood?
South Carolina remaining undefeated. That's the good news. Frank Martin and company have been unblemished this year. But that game had 67 fouls in it. You and I had a game in Knoxville just the other day where there was something like 5 or 6 fouls in the entire half.
Yeah.
67 fouls. I think for the most part, Chris, with all the new rules, I give coaches and players credit. They've adjusted. We have not seen that many whistles.
Yeah.
Alley-oop pass. And Hill can't hold on. And then a foul is submarining into a couple of Georgia players was Hayes.
Chiozza throwing the alley-oop to the 6'1" Casey Hill. We talked about what an athlete Hill is. But it's one of those high-risk, high-reward kinds of plays where Florida has lived on the edge for a lot of the year. And this is a team, I mean, they're 11th in the country in turnover percentage is Florida. They only turn it over 10 times a game. They're just one of those unforced giveaways.
Each team with the benefit of the double bonus the rest of the way for the final minute 54 as Maton knocks down the first. He's got 8 points on the night. On top of everything else that Maton has done well this season, he's shooting 78% for the free throw line. Very good number for a big man. Young man who left the state of Michigan. A lot of schools in that part of the country that were on him late, but he has a fascination with reptiles. Georgia has a program that you can actually work with reptiles, so the love of snakes actually helping the Georgia Bulldogs land a primo recruit. Whatever it takes, right?
You know, snakes are one of the most misunderstood animals. Now, I'm terrified of them, but, you know, they've walked the earth with no legs, so they've slithered the earth for centuries, and we're all terrified of them. Some are poisonous, I get it, you know, and I understand that, but most aren't. They're just trying to make a living with no legs. I mean, come on.
I learn more and more about you every game, Chris Spatola, and it frightens me dearly. Walker fouled on the stick back.
Do you know what the study of snakes is called?
I haven't the foggiest.
It is herpetology.
Oh my goodness.
Mike Morgan.
You were just going next level tonight. You are ready for conference play. You have upped your game for conference play.
Snakes are misunderstood.
Remember that next time a cobra's in my backyard. Walker knocks down the free throw. 9-point game. Florida's really outplayed Georgia from the jump. The Bulldogs, though, still very much in this basketball game. And there's a steal. Hill, breakaway, missed it. Shot was altered by Wilridge. Here come the Dogs the other way. Gaines, Maton. Can't hold on. Jump ball and the arrow to Georgia.
I'll tell you what, when Mike White plays Casey Hill and Chris Chiozza together, I mean, certainly they give up size, but those two guards are so quick. The anticipation there by Casey Hill. to get the takeaway. Then he turns it to the other end. Doesn't convert. But those two guards, again, they're small, but if that front line can rebound, those two guards are terrific on the defensive end together.
Gaines will pull the trigger for the baseline. 21 to shoot. A little more than a minute remaining. And an entertaining first half here from the O-Dome in Gainesville. Shot clock under 10 for Frazier. Gets a flat screen. Frazier pulls up and buries it right between the eyes of Devon Walker.
There's a good ball screen there by Yante Maton, and then what a pull-up. Gets to a spot, stops on the dime.
Georgia on a 9-1 run, the last 2:48. Out of bounds. Oh, they're going to call a foul on Georgia. That was a trail official that called that. Mark Fox is incredulous on the Georgia bench. I've seen that look from Mark Fox quite a bit over his 7 years in Athens. That's his way of letting you know he didn't agree with the call.
That's not his happy face.
That is not his happy face. The southpaw can't connect on the first. Justin Leon, a junior by way of Conway, Arkansas, former junior college All-American last year.
Leon was committed to go to Louisiana Tech. When Mike White got the job here, convinced Leon to join him. Now, this has been a good end to half if you're Georgia. 2 missed free throws there. The missed layup by Casey Hill. Couple turnovers, and Georgia has capitalized. A chance to go into the half, only down 5 potentially.
Dogs will play for the final shot. Frazier now goes to work with 8. Now down to 5. Frazier inside. Maton hook shot. Too strong. And that's how half number 1 will come to a close. It was a half dominated by the Gators, but give the Bulldogs credit. They close to within 7. 38-31, our halftime score. Brendan Fitzgerald and Paul Biancardi will take care of you back at our halftime studios.
Thank you very much. Welcome into the ESPNU Halftime Report. Brendan Fitzgerald alongside Paul Biancardi. So Florida has a lead, looking for an SEC win in its opener. Georgia looking for its first win in Gainesville since 2002. What have you seen so far?
Well, Mike White told me this week on the phone they're looking for an offensive identity. I think they found it tonight with their three-point shooting. If they can shoot like that, they can be a factor in the SEC. Coming into this game, they couldn't make free throws. They couldn't make deep shots from the outside. They had to rely on their zone pressure at home to get the crowd into it.
Devin Robinson, 13 points to lead the way for the Gators. They've hit 6 3-pointers through the early going, and they have a 38-31 lead at halftime. Elsewhere in the SEC, Ole Miss looking to go into Rupp Arena to take on Kentucky. Ole Miss took Kentucky last season to overtime. Stephon Moody, a big part of that. He was back with this one, but this one was all about Kentucky. Here in transition, it's Marcus Lee on the follow-up right there. Kentucky leads by 24 points at the half, and Marcus Lee here for another dunk.
Well, Kentucky, 19 offensive rebounds, 31 misses. That's 60%. Good way to win a game on the road.
How about another one there from Tyler Ulis as he goes up top. Kentucky, no problems in a win there. Texas A&M gets a win as well. Auburn, Alabama, Missouri holding serve, and South Carolina staying undefeated. South Carolina goes 46 for 53 from the free throw line in that game. You saw it here on ESPNU, and beating Memphis to stay undefeated. One of 3 undefeated programs left in the country. Another one is Oklahoma, the number 3 Sooners, opening up Big 12 play against Iowa State in Norman. Georges Niang, Buddy Hield, the big stars in this one. Let's show you what happened. Right to the second half we go. Isaiah Cousins knocks down the 3. First lead of the ball game since the early first half. They go up 76-75. Georges Niang gets stripped. Ryan Spangler lays it in transition.
You love to see seniors in this game. Spangler, Hill, Georges Niang.
Here's Hield, spin move, that's nice. OU up 83-79 after that. Under 15 seconds left, 2-point ball game. Monty Morris, good look at a 3 off the mark.
How about the pass by Georges Niang? Could have had the game-winning assist.
But in a losing effort, so Oklahoma stays undefeated. That sets up a matchup with Kansas, perhaps a 1-2 matchup there. SMU can't go to the NCAA tournament this year, NCAA sanctions, but they are undefeated. They can win the American Conference and looking good early on. Marcus Kennedy to Jeray Foster for the alley-oop. Shake Milton to Sterling Brown for 3. SMU up 3 after that one, and then Nick Moore to Sterling Brown one more time.
SMU playing with a purpose. They're playing for each other and for the head coach.
So 59-46 is the score. SMU looking to move to 13-0. They are still in action in the second half. Maryland's up by 20 on Northwestern at halftime. The rest of the games are finals. Michigan State gutting one out against Minnesota.
Big win without their best player, Denzel Valentine. They're learning how to win without their star.
What other game here stands out?
How about Iowa? At Mackey Arena, down 19, comes back for the win. Fran McCafferty has guys who can score the basketball.
Iowa beat Michigan State, then they go on the road to beat Purdue, and there you can see Kansas as well over Baylor, 102-74. That sets up Kansas, Oklahoma.
How about West Virginia, though? Double overtime at Kansas State. What a great win by Bob Huggins. He stayed in the zone in overtime, and it paid off.
Tough to get a road win in conference. West Virginia did that earlier today on ESPNU, and Cincinnati bouncing back after Mick Cronin said his team wasn't tough enough, Paul.
He was just trying to get his team going. Mick Cronin's teams are always tough, especially defensively.
Certainly, Tulsa caught him at the wrong time. Cincinnati gets a big win, first conference win of the season. The SEC Football Conference. Georgia was bowling against Penn State. We'll show you highlights coming up next.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Halftime score here from Gainesville, Florida. The Gators shooting lights out in the first half, leading it 38-31. They were the worst three-point shooting team in the league coming into tonight's action. So what do? They get red hot from downtown.
Well, they've worked at it, and that work, is it paying off? I don't know. It certainly did in that first half. They got really good looks right there. Kayvon Allen, he's got 2 of those 6 threes. They spaced the floor, they shared it, and really created. There's Chioza on the break, eyes behind his head, finding Devin Robinson, who also hit 2. This is a team who's stuck with it, and it really, really is the difference. You see Georgia, a team that can really knock it down, especially with Kenny Gaines and J.J. Frazier. They have a donut from behind the arc. 6 threes for Florida.
Turnovers a factor in this game, 10 each way, and again, that has a lot to do with the tenacious defense of both these teams. And as you mentioned, no threes for Gaines or Frazier. Coach Mike White telling us today that there was one key, was to keep those guys out of the scoring column from behind the arc. So far, that's been the case. Gators with the basketball, up 7. Inside, Egbudu had a great first half, and he starts off the second in fine fashion.
And that's where it started in the first half, right? They went inside to Egbudu. They got some points at the rim, played inside out, and a good start there. You go in and onto the block, and Egbudu gets a layup. Nice position.
And Georgia comes right back. My big can do what your big did. Ogbede with a hook shot.
Scoring in the post is about where you catch it in the angle you have. Right there, Ogbede, 2 feet in the paint, and a nice little jump hook.
And a travel on Allen. 11th turnover on the Gators.
It's interesting, Mark Fox going with Ogbede and Mayton together. The 2 biggest guys, most impact paint players for him.
Mayton into the hands of Allen, accelerating up the floor. Allen stop and go, step back, and missed a shot, tracked down by Frazier.
Throw it to him.
Mayton wants it. He's got it, and he banks it home. That is an incredible improvement.
And that's a good start. I mean, you get both those guys on the interior. Ogbede with a post up and then some early offense in the post. What a feed.
But the lack of finish by Leon. Georgia already cutting it to 5. A chance to do more here. Man. Offensive foul. That's the second time Charles Mann has been whistled for the charge.
This is playing in the post is about where you catch it and the angle you have. Deontay Mayton right on the block where he catches it, and a nice angle to get over that left shoulder, which he loves.
Top 10 in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. The sophomore, Deontay Mayton. 5-point game. Egbunu in the trees, draws a whole lot of traffic and attention and draws the foul. There were about 8 arms surrounding the basketball.
He started at the mid-post, right? It gets back to where you catch it. He didn't like it on the mid-post. He reposted and got himself better position. And by doing that, he's able to go middle. The help came late, and he gets to the foul line.
Gaines whistled for the foul. That's his second. And the first free throw too strong by Egbunu, the former USF Bull. Didn't have to go far to transfer from Tampa to Gainesville. About a 2-hour commute. 1 out of 2 for the 6'11 sophomore. 12 points now for Egbunu, a 6-point game.
You know, Egbunu only took 3 shots in 25 minutes against Florida State. Clearly the emphasis for Mike White was to get him some touches and some looks today.
Mann, by the way, on the bench with 3 fouls. Kessler in for him. Gaines can't hit the short runner. Chioso thought he was poked in the eye. No whistle. And then Allen draws the foul. Meanwhile, Chris Chiosa dabbing his right eye, making sure that he's got full vision out of there. Looks like he took a finger across the right eye. Appears to be okay. And now Gaines will go to the bench for Turtle Jackson, the freshman.
You know, Gaines is frustrated. Mark Fox kind of takes him out to calm him down. He had a good look there on the last possession. Didn't get it to go down. A little frustrated is Kenny Gaines.
Leon fouled, had the rebound, bumped bodies with Gino. I think picked up the foul. That's already 14 fouls on Georgia, none on Florida. And for Gino, that's his 4th foul, and he'll have to go to the bench. Once you get into conference play, a little more physicality out there, Chris Spatola, as the deep 2 is knocked down.
They run a lot of under out of bounds for Kayvon Allen, does Florida. Just coming off a screen there. The defense was late, and you see the talent of the freshman to rise up. What a pretty stroke.
8 points for Allen. Inside.
Great
and
position.
there is Mayton with the left hand. His game.
Well, he had great position. I mean, just again, he's moving as the ball moves. He's sealing off, and a nice find right at the rim.
13 points for the sophomore. Finney Smith forcing the action. And a nice box out there by Georgia, Wilridge. Joining us late, Florida has led this game almost throughout. Georgia had one early lead. The Gators led it by as many as 13 in the first half. Mayton getting everything done right now. 15 for Mayton.
You see the versatility. He is a guy who can hit that face-up shot consistently.
And Finney Smith draws the foul. That'll be the 15th foul on Georgia with 15:46 to play. 4-point game. Gators on top of the Dogs.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Colonel Sanders Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's still finger-licking good. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The Rowdy Reptiles coming in all shapes and sizes here in the O-Dome. Gators up by 4. Yonte Maton, the young man who loves snakes, slithering his way to 15 points.
He does his work. That was well done, by the way, Mike.
Thank you,
Ward.
sir.
He does his work early here on the defensive end, but look at where he gets to set up. And if you're John Egbunu, you've got to fight him, either get around or three-quarter. But Yonte Maton, he's got a great pair of hands. He's doing his work early, giving himself a good angle. And what a jump start he's given this Georgia offense here to start the second half.
Maton now 15 points to go along with 5 rebounds, also a block shot in 21 minutes of action. Now, last year the offense never would have gone through Yonte Maton. This year he's become a go-to guy.
And he can play extended minutes now. Last year, more of he only play about half the game. This year, playing extended minutes, has worked on his body and his shape.
Fading and firing and dropping 2 more. Kayvon Allen.
That young man has talent oozing out of his body. A little bit undersized, only about 6'4", but you see the ability to score the basketball.
They plucked him out of Little Rock, Arkansas. A lot of broken-hearted Razorback fans were hoping he'd stay in state.
And
There's
Mike
a
White
steal.
had to work for him, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. Hill on the steal and the take, draws the foul, and almost got a chance for 3 the hard way. That's another foul on Kenny Gaines, his 3rd.
You see the change of from one end to the other by Casey Hill. That's the thing. I mean, if Florida can sustain on the glass, rebounding the basketball by playing these small guards together, be it Hill and Chiozza and Kayvon Allen, then that's a dynamic backcourt. I mean, you've got speed, you've got the ability to attack the rim, the passing.
Frazier checks back in for Georgia. And you see Coach Mike White. How about this for a stat? You like my factoids, right?
Always.
All right, I'm bringing it.
If they're good, I mean, they're usually good. Just don't let me down here.
Oh, this is top shelf. Mike White, 3 consecutive conference championships at Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech, one of 7 programs in all college basketball to win their league 3 straight years. Mike White was the architect. There's a steal by Hill to Leon. Slam!
Looks like your bag of factoids fired up. That Florida defense.
Frazier to Gaines. 3 ball. Got it.
you
A
go.
silencer.
Well, you got to like the job by Mark Fox, too. He takes Gaines out, settles him down, and Gaines comes right back in and makes an impact.
Mid-range jumper. Tapped around. Gators got it.
Got to go up.
Egbunu kicks it back out.
Nice pass.
Allen on a tray. Another offensive rebound at 7 for Egbunu. Tries a little sneaky pass and somehow gets it through to Finney-Smith.
That's not necessarily the approved solution. You want Egbunu to go up with that. I don't know how he got that pass through there, but what a delivery.
Threading the needle. Man, and a block foul called.
This is not the approved solution. If you're John Egbunu, you get it in here, go up. But what a find by the big fella. And Dorian Smith, Finney-Smith is the beneficiary. What a pass.
I don't know how he got that through.
It's a tight window, to say the least.
8-point cushion for the Gators. Georgia basketball. And a whistle away from the ball on Florida. The state has been set for the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Heisman Trophy winner Derrick Henry carries the Crimson Tide as they face off against Deshaun Watson and the undefeated Clemson Tigers. Tune in Monday January 11th at 8:30 on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN. What do you like in that one, Chris Spatola?
Ooh,
Got to put you on the spot.
I got to go with Bama. I'm going to go with the brand. I'm going to go with the coach. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I'm going Bama.
Convincing argument. I will not argue. Obede on the layup, and then contact on the other end. There's been no lack of physical play tonight. Not dirty, just what you would expect at a conference game.
Well, during their shoot around, Mike White, I mean, how many times did he say paint touches, paint touches, paint touches? So he's not telling his team not to shoot, but he's re-emphasizing getting that ball into the paint and giving themselves an opportunity to score at the rim or play inside and then out.
Free throw knocked down by Casey Hill. Mayton comes back in after a breather, a much-deserved breather. And Willridge will come in for Gaines. One for two from the line, tapped around and into the hands of Mayton. The lead swells to 7 now for Florida, though, 51-44.
That's another storyline, too. Neither team has shot it well from the foul line today.
Frazier pulling up. Can't get it to go. Frazier has not hit a three all night.
Well, and Mayton back in the game. He's been so good to start this half. You'd love to see a post touch for Yante Mayton. I mean, if you're J.J. Frazier, you can get that shot at any point in the shot clock. It's just not a good look at that point.
And then Frazier just picked up his 3rd foul. So he'll go to the bench, or will he? Now they're going to keep him in. He's going to get talked to over there on the sideline as Hill goes back to the charity stripe.
And I mean, that's a shot that J.J. Frazier can hit, but at that point, Yante Mayton comes back in. He's had success on the block. Give him a touch and see what he creates off of that.
You know, I wonder if that was a little bit of a frustration shot for Frazier. That's the first 3-point attempt he's had tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that can happen. It certainly wouldn't be the first time a guy has felt he deserved at least a shot.
Yeah, he's been bottled up pretty well by that Gator defense.
Nice pass.
Edwards might have had it blocked from behind by Egbunu. He at least altered it. And now a technical foul on Mark Fox. He wanted a foul on the other end.
You know, I don't know about the technical foul. You got to let a coach. I mean, he felt like Mike Edwards got fouled, and I think he feels like there's been a few calls down there when his guys have gone to the basket that he has not liked.
Well, he's going to get his money's worth now. Jacket is off. Plenty of choice words. Yep, toss it away. He's going to go jacketless the rest of the way. He might have to take off the tie if he has another call that doesn't go his way. One for two, meanwhile, for Allen. Let's take another look, see what Mark Fox is irate about.
He thought this was a foul. Yeah, I mean, you know, look, Egbunu may have gotten that shooting arm there, and Mark Fox was not happy about it.
Egbunu will get a breather now for Florida. A 10-point lead. Georgia was cutting into the deficit there, making it a one-possession game. Now it's back to 10. Finney Smith blocked, picked up by Frazier. 3-on-2 to man, finishes. Beautiful transition. Eight-point game. Chiozza guarded by Gaines. pulls up, deep two, got it.
I tell you what, he's becoming better and better and better. And now that he's in that starting lineup, he just creates so many different plays defensively, passing the basketball there. I mean, if you're going to go under the screen and play off him, he can pull up.
He's still pretty lean. Tell us he put on about 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason. There's that jump hook, not this time.
Yeah, it's good position by Ogwede, just not a shot he's ready to hit yet.
3 ball, no. And a foul, I believe, away from the shot.
Yeah, he called Kenny Gaines. I don't know if he's coming off, but I'll tell you what, Florida is best when they can turn defense into offense.
It's the first big Monday of the season on ESPN, and is it ever big? At 7 o'clock, Marcus Page and the 7th-ranked Tar Heels battle the Noles and their freshman combo of Dwayne Bacon and Malik Beasley. Then we're at the raucous Allen Fieldhouse, but Buddy Hield and the 3rd-ranked Sooners face Perry Ellis and number 2 Kansas in a journey to the tourney matchup. Now, both those teams won today, so expect that to be a 1 versus 2 matchup. On Monday night, the new AP poll will come out about 7-8 hours before the tip. What a game we look forward to on Monday night.
You've got a player of the year, probably the leader in the clubhouse right now, and Buddy Hield. And I was in studio last week on ESPNU saying that I think Oklahoma right now is the best team in the country. And this whole, Kansas has held a vice grip on that Big 12. This could be the year where Oklahoma, with that old backcourt, Spangler inside, a team that really gets after you on that defensive end. It's going to be a great, great matchup, Mike.
Kansas with Perry Ellis, Wayne Selden. How about this? Oklahoma led the Big 12 last year in defensive efficiency, and now as a team they're shooting 46% from 3. I mean, they can do no wrong right now. Lon Kruger, who once did an excellent job here in Gainesville, led them to a Final Four in '94. Doing an exceptional job in Norman.
And Kansas beat up on a good Baylor team, at home, but beat up on a good Baylor team today. And Oklahoma, one of 3 teams in the top 10 in both adjusted offense and defense.
Mayton fouled on a jump hook shot. Now, you brought up a good point a moment ago as a coach. When you look at team fouls, the differential, what do you think Mark Fox is thinking right now?
Well, that made it 10-3. So right now, Georgia has 10 fouls. Florida had 2. So Mark Fox looks at that, feels like Mike Edwards gets fouled going to the basket, and he's not happy. And my thing is, if you're an official, it's going down to the other end. Mark Fox, let him make his point. I mean, I don't think a technical foul is necessary there. It was a close foul on Edwards. It's 10-2 in fouls. Let a guy have his time, have his day, and then if he doesn't settle down, then ring him up.
I'm with you. And Mark Fox, who's been in this league now 7 years, does not have a reputation for picking up tees. He's not your prototypical hothead. Mayton rattles home the second 9-point game. 16 points for Mayton.
Georgia back in the zone, Mike.
Looking at that zone, trying to find a crease. Finney Smith, double pump in the lane, gets it to go.
With how poorly Florida has shot it, I asked Mike White yesterday, I said, have you been zoned a lot? He said, no, I actually would prefer it. Dorian Finney-Smith is so dynamic when we put him right at that foul line, and you see right there, I mean, he can put it on the floor, he's got length and size, and a good finisher.
Shot clock at 7. Here's Frazier. Into the corner. Shot is blocked. Loose ball. And out of bounds to Florida anyway. Could have been a shot clock violation. Could have been out of bounds to the Gators either way.
Look at this play. What an athlete. Casey Hill rising. The timing, doesn't foul. Become a great, and they are a very good defensive team, one of the top 5 defensive teams in the country. When you start closing out and not giving up easy looks, that's when you become great. Good extra effort there by Casey Hill. There's Finney Smith again.
Baseline jumper, too strong. Egbudu, another offensive rebound. And poked away into the hands now of Frazier. Fires a rare air ball. Hill shake and bake. Finney Smith on a tray. And the smallest guy on the floor comes away with a rebound. Gino on a three. Contact, and that'll go against Florida.
Yeah, here's the question, Mike. How long Mark Fox keeps Kenny Gaines on the bench? He's got 4 fouls, but they need his scoring. And so with an 11-point game and only 9 minutes left, you can't allow this thing to get away from you. You might be able to sustain defensively, but you've got to have somebody out there who can make a scoring impact. Yante Maton on the bench, Kenny Gaines on the bench. I mean, 2 guys who are your prolific scorers. Be interesting to see how long Mark Fox goes with those 2 guys on the bench.
Yeah, Maton's just getting a breather with the 2 fouls. Gaines with the 4. We got 9 minutes left to go, but I'm with you. I don't know how much longer you can go without Kenny Gaines and his shooting right now. Mann rejected out of bounds by Finney Smith. Charles Mann has not been able to penetrate and finish tonight like he normally does.
You've got athletes at the rim. You've got rim protectors. They're good on the ball is Florida. Then once you get around, and that was just a nice individual play by Dorian Finney-Smith. But it's been tough sledding at the rim because you've got athletes and length.
And there's a foul on Hill, bumping bodies with Jackson. Turtle Jackson hits the deck. So now Florida's foul's starting to even up. Funny how that works, right? Now 10-5. Mann on the inbounds. And just throws a pass wide to Jackson. That's not a kind of mistake you expect out of a senior.
No, it's not. And here comes Kenny Gaines, and here comes Yante Maton.
Yep. With 8:44 to go, keep an eye on number 12 in black. Really can't afford to pick up that 5th foul. He's up top. As Hill delivers, gets by him, kick out pass, into the corner, Chiozza. Hill probes the right side and draws the foul.
This Georgia zone, it's an odd front, meaning they've got 1 guy at the top of it, and all Florida's doing is just setting a top ball screen. The guard is coming off, and he's got kind of an overload. So he can either kick to the corner, but the defense has to make a decision as the guard's coming off that top ball screen, and it's been tough for Georgia. Those guards can turn the corner like Casey Hill did there and gets himself fouled.
And the Gators are not doing themselves any favors at the free throw line. 16 of 28, that's 57%.
And they're 62 on the year, so
yeah.
you know, they're not far. They're last in the SEC. Not something they've done well. But putting Georgia in the foul trouble has been a component to this game.
Mann throws it up there and draws the foul. So Charles Mann finally getting some reward for the penetration. Charles Mann, Georgia's first ever 2-time first-team preseason All-SEC vote getter, as named by the coaches. Off to a slow start this season, averaging under 10 points a game. Shooting percentage down. gets that one.
He's not a great shooter, so he does have good size. He's not a great shooter, so I think defenders, you give him about an arm and a half, you back off him a little bit, because the penetration is what he wants to do. He wants to get into the paint and create a foul situation.
10-point game. Mann with 7.
See that odd front from this zone by Georgia.
Into the corner. Inside, Leon. No, and the rebound to the Bulldogs, Wilridge. Mann, wheels, deals. That's a shot that normally Mann finishes. Chioza on a 3. Timeout.
They start hitting shots like that, good night. I mean, they're just, that's the one area where this team has struggled, was behind that arc. They start hitting shots, this Florida team could make some waves.
SEC opening Saturday, the Gators leading the Georgia Bulldogs 62-49 with 7:26 to go. Some other games going on around the conference. Missouri and a laugher over Savannah State. Auburn over Tennessee. Alabama victorious. Texas A&M big over Arkansas. Kentucky defeating Ole Miss. The Gamecocks. That game was, it was a foul-a-thon, folks. The Gamecocks prevailing 86-76. Vanderbilt up on Ben Simmons and LSU. We will be in South Carolina a week from tonight as the undefeated Gamecocks will take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. They've got a midweek game at Auburn on Tuesday night, trying to remain one of the 3 undefeated teams in college basketball. Mann trying to feed the post, nothing there. Maton quickly doubled, back out to Mann. A runner off the mark and out of bounds to Georgia. And we will step aside with 7:02 to play. It's the Gators 62 and the Bulldogs 49.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Samuel Adams, for the love of beer.
7:02 to go here in the O'Connell Center, Gainesville, Florida. The Gators on top of the Georgia Bulldogs 62-49. The Gators, of course, led by head coach Mike White, one of 4 first-year head coaches in the Southeastern Conference. Mike White taking over for Billy Donovan, who, of course, is now at Oklahoma State. You look at the bio blast for Mike White, his first year in Gainesville. Former guard in Oxford back in the late 90s, so he's familiar with the SEC. Jacksonville State assistant coach, Ole Miss assistant coach. Talked about the job he did in Ruston, Louisiana, earning the Conference USA Coach of the Year award. And as we talked about earlier, a guy that was not ready to leave necessarily. It would take a special job to get him away from Louisiana Tech. This was that special job, as Maton has the shot blocked out of bounds to Georgia. And it just feels like a good fit, Chris.
It does. You know, a lot of similarities between he and Billy Donovan, both guards when they played, both a pressing, attacking style of defense. And he has brought that. There's AD Jeremy Foley, who hired Mike White. And it's a home run hire, a guy who's going to, I think, have great success here if he can get the recruiting train moving. Certainly X and O wise, and defensively, he's a terrific coach.
Georgia's got to get some offense going.
I was going to say, they seem a little unsettled. I mean, you know, they're coming down the end of the clock, going to those ball screens. They're really not getting a whole lot out of it.
Egbunu forced that one and rejected. That was Due, who doesn't get a whole lot of PT for Georgia, but swatted that one. Now Due will go back to the bench. They'll bring in another big body, the 6'8", 250-pound Ogbede. Air ball from 3, but another offensive rebound for Florida. Finney-Smith back up top, shot clock at 5. Got to get something. Hill on a 3. Egbunu again. And out of bounds to Florida. Egbunu has been relentless on the offensive glass tonight.
He has. He's outworking those guys. I mean, this is, look, he's a great athlete. He has good size, and he looks like an Adonis, but he is also outworking these guys on the interior for that basketball.
That is 6 offensive rebounds for Egbunu. He's got 11 total.
Yeah, he's been relentless tonight.
Hill on a reset. And the Gators content with bleeding a little clock here. Hill in the lane. Gets the short jumper to drop.
And that's where the offensive rebounds kill you, because Georgia's first shot defense hasn't been bad. They've gotten Florida to take the shots they want.
Oh my goodness! Kenny Gaines elevates. A two-hand flush from out of nowhere. Did that just happen?
That's what they call the hammer drop.
Oh, jeez. See if that wakes up Georgia on offense. 13-point lead for the Gators. Tapped around. And out of bounds to Florida.
Yeah, that's why I say it's another, look at this play, coming right into your living room. That's called the hammer drop. I've now named that Kenny Gaines. What an athletic play. But on the other end, again, another play where you get Florida to take a contested 3, a shot that they miss badly, but the ball goes back to Florida. Georgia's first shot defense in this zone has been good. They just haven't been able to limit Florida one shot.
Gators 15 offensive rebounds as Hill throws that one into the second row. Now the way Kenny Gaines jumped on that last one, he might have been able to reel that one in. The Bulldogs need to reel some offense in. We're under 5 minutes to play, a 13-point deficit to cut into, and that's not going to get it done. They get it back with Maton. Mid-range jumper. Offensive rebound. Oh, goodness. Georgia can't buy a bucket. Scooped up by Allen.
Good decision.
Shot clock under 10. Baseline drive and a bump foul along the way.
Yeah, we've seen some big-time dunks in this game. Maybe none bigger than that one by Kenny Gaines.
Brandon Fitzgerald back in studio. Coming up in 8.5 minutes, Jeremy Hemsley, the San Diego State Aztecs, will take on Utah State out in Logan, Utah. This one will tip on ESPN3 on the Watch ESPN app. It'll be on ESPNU when you guys are done. Mike, Chris, back to you.
64-51 our score here with 3:58 to play. Mike working alongside Chris Spatola as we crack open the NCAA notebook. Michigan State bouncing back today with a win against Minnesota. Kansas dominating Baylor. Wayne Selden 24 points, and Xavier gets back on track, defeating 9th-ranked Butler.
Yeah, and Xavier had to do that without Edmund Summer, still out with that concussion. And a big bounce back, like you said, for Xavier. I mean, they got blown out at Villanova, probably their worst, by far their worst performance of the year. Nice bounce back at home against a good Butler team.
And of course, Kansas and Oklahoma winning today, so that's setting up the 1 versus 2 matchup on Monday night. What a great game to tune into about 48 hours from now. Meanwhile, the Gators stretching the lead. It's 14, 65-51. Georgia had this game right near a tie early going second half, and then all of a sudden went cold from the field, didn't box out on defense, and the Gators opportunistic on both ends, now out to a 15-point lead. Now we've got Lee Castle talking things over at Mark Fox. Apparently the sub came in too soon is the call. Much to do about nothing. Mark Fox has already been teed up once. He's just at the point where he's gonna shrug the shoulders the rest of the way. Gaines fading and firing. It's been that kind of second half for everybody for Georgia, with the exception of that highlight dunk. Not much going the way of Georgia on offense. We wondered how the Gators would come out in this ball game tonight after a heartbreaking loss to in-state rival Florida State. I think the answer was emphatic by Coach White and company. Desperation three, and Maton bumped on the rebound. That's going to be a foul on Florida, and that'll send Maton to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
You know, these are big free throws. Chance to make it a 13-point game. The thing is, I'm curious, Georgia continuing to sit in the zone, so you're essentially allowing Casey Hill to dribble the basketball out around half court for 20 seconds before Florida initiates. Be interesting to see in the next couple possessions if Georgia picks up man or tries some trapping, something to create potentially some turnovers or a little bit of a quicker tempo here.
Maton, one of the top free throw shooters in the Southeastern Conference, coming in at 78%. He's got 17 points. He's really been the lone bright spot tonight for Georgia on offense. Two for two, still a ball game.
And here's the pressure.
Hill on the handle. Hill called for the foul as Gaines, and that's his fifth.
We talked about the advantages of playing Chiozza and Casey Hill together. Perhaps no bigger advantage than at the end of a game with the lead. It's so hard to pressure both those guards, so quick off the bounce.
You used to get 30 seconds to replace a fouled out player. Thankfully, they cut it down to 15. Basically, coaches were just using that as an additional timeout. Now they've sped up the process a little.
Yeah, either timeout or additional seconds to yell at the officials for the fifth foul.
That's right. Eight points tonight for Casey Hill. And over the back on Egbunu. So another 1-and-1 for Georgia.
Yeah, well, and now Georgia gets to march down 94 feet and take free throws without time coming off the clock. Egbunu, a young player, a redshirt sophomore, will figure out in time that with 3 minutes left and you're up 13, you don't need to go for an offensive rebound in that position.
That's what we call a teaching moment, right?
If you win.
Yes. Maton. Knocks it down.
You're right about Maton, Mike. He has not only been the lone bright spot, he's been a star tonight.
Yeah.
And he really has been all season. He is the most improved player thus far in the SEC.
That might be the least of the accolades he picks up this year. I mean, he's got a chance to be an all-conference player when it's all said and done. He's got 20 points tonight. And Florida, in a generous mood, gives it right back. Still a ball game, 11 points, need a bucket here.
So many careless giveaways on both sides tonight.
Again, no Kenny Gaines out there. And another foul on Florida. I mean, you're gift wrapping points at the free throw line for Georgia. We've talked a lot tonight about Maton, and justifiably so. Last year, I mean, he was just a nice kind of glue guy. 5 points, 4 rebounds, 18 minutes a game. Look at the explosion in numbers this year.
He's top 10 in the SEC in points, rebounds, field goal percentage, blocks. He's done it in all areas. And a big missed free throw right there from Derek Ogwede.
Yeah, big miss on the front end, almost a steal by Jackson. Florida milking it again under 10. Finney Smith with 5 to shoot. Got it. That is a dagger. Man, bumped and fouled by Kayvon Allen.
You know, if you're Mark Fox and you're Georgia defensively, I mean, you'll kind of live with this shot. A guy who has not shot it well in Finney Smith. You had late pressure over Yante Maton. Just a backbreaker by Dorian Finney-Smith.
14-point lead, timeout on the floor. As we remind you once again, less than 48 hours away from a really big Monday. Again, it starts off with North Carolina and Florida State. And then number 1 versus number 2. That's what it's going to be when the new poll comes out. Raucous Allen Fieldhouse. Buddy Hield, who's been exceptional this year for Oklahoma, and Lon Kruger, the Kansas Jayhawks. A journey to the tourney matchup. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot again, Chris Spatola, but that's what I like to do. What do you like in that one?
In Oklahoma, Kansas?
Absolutely.
You know, at home, I like Kansas. But I still believe, I mean, this is the thing with Oklahoma. 4 of their 5 starters have been in that starting lineup for 3 years. I mean, you don't see that in college basketball.
Right.
You've got 3 seniors in the backcourt. Ryan Spangler's a junior. They have balance. They're one of the few teams that's in the top 10 in both adjusted offense and defense. And I love that team. All that said, Allen Fieldhouse is a tough place to play, and Kansas may be the second best team in the country.
Should be a great matchup on Monday night. The front end of that matchup won't be bad either. North Carolina, another veteran team that Roy Williams has this year.
You know, and a team, I still think that they've got a much higher ceiling. At the start of the year, I thought Carolina was going to be by far the best team in that ACC. They have struggled at times. Again today, I mean, Georgia Tech had them on the ropes. A Carolina team, they have unique size up front. We know Marcus Page is terrific. That'll be a good game, that first matchup.
I was watching our cohort Seth Greenberg earlier today. He likes Miami. He thinks Miami's the best team in the ACC this year.
Well, coaches, former coaches, and I would say the same thing. We love old.
Right.
Right. And so if you've got 3 redshirt seniors, guys who are in their 5th year in your starting lineup, which Miami does, you love it. It's the reason I love Oklahoma. I mean, unless you're Duke and Kentucky, who are on another level recruiting-wise, everybody else, it pays to be old.
Under 2 minutes to go in this one, a 13-point cushion for the Gators. That's a brick fired up by Jackson. Frazier going to try it, and he finally connects from downtown. He has not been a big factor in this game. So deadly. Again, Coach White telling us the key for him, if he had to pick one thing, contain Gaines and Frazier from three-point land. They have been bottled up all night long.
They have, and credit that Florida defense. Those guards for Florida have accepted the challenge. But it's one of the things you love about Georgia, right? The narrative on Georgia coming into this year was the seniors in the backcourt, and then Frazier along with them, just been bottled up. How about that? They've taken 21 threes, has Florida. I mean, that's the other thing coming in, Mike. Like, you're looking at a stat sheet as a coach, and you've got a Florida team, they've shot 27% from the three-point range, and yet they've attempted 36 more than their opponents. They're shooting almost 22 threes a game. For a team that's shooting 27%, Mike White's something he had to kind of look at, I think, over the last several weeks.
And tonight they hit them. I mean, that's been the difference. Yep. They hit the threes, and they've shot 35 free throws, so they've been busy from outside, and they've drawn some contact. Of course, Georgia has to provide contact here. Fourth foul on Frazier. That's another thing Mike White was very honest about with us, talking about this Florida team. He said, you know, look, I'm still learning about this team. I'm experimenting. There's a little bit of trial and error that I have to go through with this group. Remember, this Florida team had a losing record last year. Yeah. Only the second one Billy Donovan had. And so the expectations, while they were somewhat high for Florida based on talent, there was a lot of things that had to be figured out by Coach White. And he admitted he's talked with Coach Billy Donovan, who's been gracious with his time, to try to get some advice, some scouting on his guys.
The foundation was there. I mean, you know, Mike White said that. The foundation defensively especially was there. The narrative hasn't changed. I'm using the buzzword, the word narrative. We all use it nowadays. It hasn't changed on this Florida team. It was a team last year that struggled to score, especially in the half court, but was great defensively. It's been the same this year for this Florida team, and Mike White and his staff have had to really stress fundamentals. They've gotten these guys into the gym doing extra work to shoot the basketball, but defensively, they've been terrific.
Narrative is the buzzword tonight. I thought it was the one you used, study of snakes.
You know, herpetology.
That's my buzzword.
It's a very popular word.
Meanwhile, an ill-advised foul, fouling a three-point shooter up by double digits with 1:35 to go. Frazier, ordinarily a very good free throw shooter. That makes it a 9-point game with 95 seconds to play.
Florida, not a good free throw shooting team. You got to lay a foul on one of these guys.
Right.
And that's not the one. I mean, Kayvon Allen, by far their best free throw shooter.
Chiosa's got it, and Georgia's going to play it straight up.
Interesting decision. This 3-possession game. Mark Fox deciding not to foul there.
Allen, shot clock ticking down. Step back three. Oh, my goodness. 18 for the freshman. Jackson. No sail, and now it'll be a free throw exhibition for the Gators with under 50 seconds to play.
Yeah, I think if you're Mark Fox, you'll kind of live with this shot. This is a great individual play. I mean, look, defense is not bad, but sometimes great offense is better than great defense. Look at the step back through the legs into the pull-up. That's a freshman, folks. That is not an easy shot.
A good-looking player in Kayvon Allen. Kayvon Allen, remember now, he was a Billy Donovan commit, and then when Billy Donovan departed, there was talk that maybe Allen would change and would try to go elsewhere. Mike White had to travel over to Little Rock, Arkansas, and basically convince Kayvon, hey, look, you fell in love not just with Billy Donovan, but with the University of Florida. Gainesville's still a good spot. We can use you. Yeah. I think that's going to be a good marriage.
Well, the best recruiting job, and Mike White may not get credit for it, but when the story is written, the best recruiting job he's done has been getting those 3 guys to recommit, because you can build a program off of those guys. We haven't seen much of Kavarius Hayes tonight. Mike White's so high on him, thinks he's going to be a terrific player here at Florida. We have seen how good Kayvon Allen can be. It's a young team, only 1 senior on this Florida team.
Yeah, most of their top players, freshmen and sophomores. Of course, Finney Smith, the senior, and he'll no doubt play a big role in conference play, in which the Gators appear to be on their way to a 1-0 start. 1 for 2 for Chiozza. He has 11. Under a minute to play. Foul on Florida with 29.9 on the clock. This will be another teaching moment. You don't need to foul here, am I right?
You don't. You do not need to foul here.
That is the Captain Obvious point of the night provided by yours truly. Love the aggressive play, but at this point, it's academic. Gators leading at 77 to 63 with 29.9 on the clock. Empty trip for Edwards. And the Gators can just let the clock bleed and improve to 9-4 on the season. 1-0 in conference play. Terrific performances tonight by several Gator players, including Allen, the freshman, with 18. Egbunu, 12 points, 12 rebounds, another double-double for that young man.
Yeah, it's a good effort. I mean, they shot the ball well. It got them kick-started, but their defense Florida was outstanding tonight. They hold serve at home. It's a good win.
That's it from Gainesville. Gators victorious over the Bulldogs as we send you to San Diego State, Utah State.